Well, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Hello from me and our team in the KITION Planetarium Observatory. Welcome to another online science cafe. Last Tuesday of every month, as we usually do. Tonight, we have 4 subjects to talk about. 4 really important subjects. 2 about astronomical phenomena, and 2 about 2 of our members here at the KITION Planetarium Observatory, who makes us proud, not only us as a team and our organization, but also our nation, Cyprus, and I believe that all the world and the scientific community is proud about them as well. So I'm talking about Ara Mahdessian, who is with us tonight, and he was awarded the first gold medal for Cyprus in the International Olympiad of Astronomy and Astrophysics. And Constantinos Troullias, my son actually, he's doing the first ever solo mission at the Analog Astronaut Center in Krakow. He's still in the mission. But because of the extreme conditions and the scientific data they want to receive, most probably will not have him. But maybe I will surprise you if the plane where the Space Agency director, Ms. Agatha, will land early, then she will connect with us. So the other 2 events is a blue supermoon on 31st of August, and the opposition of Saturn, which took place, or actually occurred on the 27th of August, and it's still near that position, and we're going to talk about it, and the Perseids, meteor showers, and the fire poles that were recorded. Alexander, do you want to start with your subject first?
Okay. So let's start with what's happened with Perseids this year. It was impressive, first of all, because of the whole year, the whole peak of Perseids, there was no moon. And all those who make meteor observations are very lucky and they're very happy. No moon. So it's time to go and observe. It's the best time. And George made his observations together with visual as well, photographic. And here you may see some stars with kind of Milky Way and a line. So he got opportunity to catch a meteor here. And you may notice that this is Vega, and this is the parallelogram of Lyra. So this is Lyra constellation, it's definitely Milky Way. George, would you like to say a few words how you made it?
Yes, of course. As we usually do for the last 16 years at least, we do visual observations, and then in the latest years we do also photographic observations with the cooperation of our friend in Cypriot Observatory, Yannis, with the Oscar camera with 12 frames per second. But also we do our own photography here on field with DSLRs and mobiles. So it's called DSLR astrophotography or mobile phone astrophotography. So we can use applications and capture some jewels of the night sky. In this case, so we had some 15 seconds exposure, and we captured some meteor here in Lyra constellation next to Vega, but we have many more that they need to be still processed. We did another technique, star trails. So with the star trails, we capture the star trails, the rotation of the Earth around its axis, and many meteors, because the capturing star trails means you need longer exposure, 1, 2 hours at least, and therefore you can get the field rotation, the rotation of the Earth, and you can also get a lot of meteors in the same image. But in the other case, you need to take 15 seconds exposure, low ISO, and you can do stacking so that you can get all the meteors on the same image. So that was the techniques used. Thank you, Alexander.
Thank you. So what happened with Perseids this year? In fact, let's look what's going on generally. So the maximum reported at International Meteor Organization was achieved. Let me see. I have panel at the bottom. Let me move it. Okay, so maximum was achieved around 13-14 of August. We'll see it more accurately later, the peak in details. And it was 68 meteor per hour recalculated in case when you observe them in dark sky and the radiant is in zenith. So we name it zenith hour rate. And that's what surprised me all over the world. 13,000 Perseids were reported this year. It's really impressive, and this number mostly because of absence of full moon. Not only full moon, just lack of moon. So the moon wasn't on the sky during observations, and it helped to observe many dim meteors and enjoy the view. So that's what generally happened with Perseids. And geography of observers was like this. You see that it is 138 observers all over the world and 13,000. So each observer in average got 100. Really good harvest this year. And you see that most of observers are in Europe, in the United States, and some in Asia, far east. That's main contribution. We had some from Brazil. And Cyprus, you see it as official data, and officially 3 observers were from Cyprus, all 3 from KITION Planetarium Observatory. But in fact, there were much more, those whom we know, but they did not supply their data yet. Okay, we are in the same position with others, so there could be other observers who did not supply from their data, but they're from other parts of the world.
Alexander,
looks like George wants to say something. Go ahead.
Yes, I want to emphasize here that the number 3 that Alexander noted down is the 3 that comes from the data that it is already uploaded from the website. Because the KITION Planetarium Observatory made 3 sessions, different excursions, with approximately 12 people every session. But there was this problem with the website and didn't allow them to, there was a bug, didn't allow them to make new registrations. So those that they were already registered members, they could have submitted the data. We, as national coordinators as well, for IMO for Cyprus, for Fireboard, we have accounts as well, so we can submit it for somebody else. But we didn't want to do so also because we want them, since they were involved in this science research project, we want them with their name to appear there in the observations. Therefore, the 3 observers are those that we have already had an account with IMO, and we already submitted our results. So the other observers, we are going to wait for the bug to be fixed, and we are going to upload them their own data with their own names. So this was a parenthesis for no misunderstandings. Thank you.
Yeah, it's okay. So we believe that it will be settled somehow. Anyway, formally, the situation is like this, and it's still good. Now let's look in details what happened. Our observations were around midnight. It is a universal time, so around midnight of universal time on 12th of August, we were at KITION site with a lot of activity there with many people. And the next night on 13th around midnight we were here, so it was we who observed it, something, and so we made this contribution at around between 60 and 80. So some data were taken from Cyprus here. This is the next maximum. Then we observe it again, and the meteors. So, but George, do you remember it was the next night or 2 nights later?
I think it was the first night was on the
Sunday
yes,
from to Monday.
Sunday night, yes, until we stayed until most of the people around 9 people stayed until 12:30 or 1 o'clock.
Until 1 o'clock.
Stayed, and 3 people we stayed behind until 3:30.
Yes, it was here, but the next date was not 14th. I believe it was 30, not 14th. So our next contribution was somewhere here. So it's out.
But it was on the 14th, Alexander, on the 14th.
The next night.
Yes, it was the day before the festival, and we went third time on the 16th.
So we were 13, and the next night.
14 and 16th, yes.
No, on 16th, so it's out of this peak. We made our contribution, but out of the peak. That's when we look at this peak, we might see that it could be like this. It's definitely increase here a bit lower. Maybe it increases here and goes down. Maybe there was this is maximum and from this goes down. So we definitely see here lack of data, and we may see that lack of data fell at midday in Cyprus and in Europe, so when we have the sun over horizon, and here again we have the sun over horizon. So what's going on? Let's look again at our distribution of observers. We see that all observers were here where there was night, and they observe on the 13th. We observe later, and again on the 14th. So when we had night, we observed it, I mean Europe. And the United States had some data, but not dramatically here. These gaps come when there is no, at the place where is night and evening after midday in Europe. So it is this region. We could not discuss southern hemisphere because of Perseids are from the northern hemisphere. It's not fair to discuss it there. We could not discuss very far north because of it is daytime there at the North Pole. It is the whole day, so we don't care. So most data were not collected from this area, and we know why. Here the most let's say educated people who may make contribution live in Russia, and Russia has language barrier with IMO, because of IMO has everything developed in English, very wonderful, good site, but only fireballs are for could be reported in native language in many languages. I think that if IMO wants to collect data from here is to develop the site in Russian, so the next important step. Then many people, not only from Novosibirsk, but many amateurs of astronomy could make their contribution, because of it's not just this year, it happened constantly. We constantly have gap. I'm sure we have observers here, but they don't supply just because of gap of language. So that's the next step. In this case, we will be sure where was maximum. Either Europeans were very lucky to observe maximum, or maximum was a bit hours later. So that's what we have with this graph. Okay, about fireball. So we were very lucky that we had one beautiful fireball over Cyprus, and it happened around Perseids activity, so that's why many people could observe together with taking photos, and we had beautiful results. Let's look how it was. I think my video may go. Yes, it goes. So let's start from beginning. This is our video. It's the camera which is just taking video what's going on, and that's all, nothing more. So I make a loop of it, and you may notice that around 21 hour 20 minutes 16 seconds there was maximum. You see, now we see fireball, but it's not so bright anymore, and here you may see a glare or above the camera, but it definitely was something bright above. So it's not so bright like it was in 2016 when the whole sky immediately became bright, but still it was impressive, very nice image. And later, Eric Kitas, who is the owner of the site, he pointed that the camera PV on it next day it had time correction like this. Correct time, so time on the clocks was time which is shown by camera plus 30 seconds. So this correction helped us to find the exact time when the fireball fly in universal time, and we supplied this data to International Meteor Organization, and I was surprised that the next day the president of Meteor Organization replied, and he said that it is really impressive catch of fireball. Well,
Alexander, if I may interrupt again, sorry.
Yes.
And he sent an email. He said that they were impressed about the fireball. It was a really impressive event because there was a lot of reports, and he promised that the person in charge would write an article related to this fire.
Oh, let's wait when it happened. Okay. Meanwhile, Satira Observatory, it made its own the whole sky image, and you may notice here summer triangle. Again, Vega with Lyra, then Apaltair, and at the end of the session with exposure 12 seconds, there was a fireball entering from under horizon into Cyprus. And this is the next 12 seconds, and during those 12 seconds, we see that the fireball goes and did not stop. So it was long way. You see, it was almost like 12-second event. It was very, very slow along horizon all the way. We don't know what happened next. Either it goes under horizon and the next image didn't show anything, or it is not horizon, it is a building. So horizon is a bit farther. At least it seems to me that horizon should be a bit farther. Okay, anyway, beautiful picture. Let me show again. You see, this is the end of the first 12 seconds, and this is beginning of the next 12 seconds. And if you count, look at the time, 57, and this is 10, there is 1 second gap. So it means that when 12 seconds ends, the camera automatically collect recorded data on the database, and after that starts the next 12-second session, and the recording takes 1 second. So during 1 second, the fireball stop here and again and start here. So we know that during a second, fireball take this period of flight. So we may say that, okay, this is this angular distance corresponds 1 second of speed of this fireball. Very slow, impressively, very good. And we may ask students, for example, to proceed with this 1 second velocity and check whether it is 1 second, next second, next second. If it is really 12 seconds, journey of this fireball. So really impressive, good result from two observatories. One just a camera for weather, it constantly make records, and another one from all sky camera of Yanis Hadjiannis.
Here, Alexander, I would like to publicly thank Eric Gida for his friendship and his submission of data, and also because it's the second time he's giving us video and for reporting of fireball, and also our friend Yanis Hadjiannis from Sodira for his good cooperation throughout the year, and for his contribution as a volunteer here in the construction of our new observatory, and also for cooperating and sharing data with his camera and our friendship. And we have to say here that it all started with our KITION Astronomy Academy because he came here with his daughter in the Read the Sky. He attended the Read the Sky course, and from there it all began. So thank you again, Yanis, as well. Thank you, Arsen.
Okay, so we have good results and from our own resources about this fireball. And in general, at least not now, yesterday, we had 28 records at International Meteor Organization of our event, one video supplied already, and you see that it is not just Cyprus. It was as Satira Observatory shown, it started already on the horizon. It was bright, so it enters Cyprus, and it goes a long way over northern sky of Cyprus, so it goes like this. So it's really impressive result. Well, and we had some results from Greece, from Turkey, and even from Israel. So these other data are important from the point of view of our summer challenge task, which we do here in KITION Planetarium Observatory, because of you see, Cyprus is good and very active in this in observation of this fireball, but we are at one place. And that's why our data are restricted. It's almost like one observer from one point. So we are very local. We need other observers from different places, and it will help us to see, to estimate trajectory of fireball much more precise. So that's what we have here. Anyway, it's really good result.
So our next subject is the event that we are going to have. We are going to have on Thursday, 31st. So we are going to celebrate, if I may say, two events, two celestial events. The blue supermoon. It's a double event and double phenomena, and a position of Saturn. So there we will have 3 sessions. The first session will be held in Russian language. It will start from 7:30 with 20-30 minutes lecture and then 30 minutes for the observations. The second session will be done in Greek language from 8:30 to 9:30. And the third session will be given out in English language from 9:30 to 10:30. So all sessions will be the same in different languages, all 3 languages. The first part of the session will be a small lecture, presentation, interactive, talking about the 2 phenomena in detail. And after that, we'll have observations of Saturn, and the very impressive Saturn, I may say, and the very impressive full moon. So let's see why it is important. First of all, we have something very, what we call a rare phenomenon. So we have a second full moon during the same month. So this means a rare event. And since it's a very rare event, it has a special name given to it, and we name it blue moon. So whenever we have a second full moon in the same month, then we have this definition. Now there's another definition for the blue moon, which is related to the seasons, and we will explain it in details during our sessions. But in this celebration on the 31st, we are celebrating the second full moon in the same month. The reason it occurs is because the Earth, it rotates around the Earth, it orbits around the Earth in approximately 29.5 days. So throughout the year, throughout 3 years time span, there is one extra moon that should be fitted into 1 month, according to the calculation. So 1 month has an additional full moon. In our case, this month we have on the 1st of August, and we have it on the 31st as well now. So we're celebrating this blue moon. No change in the color or the appearance of the moon, because people are calling us, they're asking us, no, except if we put the blue filter to allow specific bandwidth of light to come through specific wavelength. Therefore, it can be observed as blue as well. But in this case, this month, we have also the position of the moon very close to the perigee. So it's closer, and it means that it's supermoon as well. So we have blue supermoon this month. It will appear brighter and larger. And the other phenomenon is Saturn at opposition. So from the point of view of the Earth, the planet of Saturn in this case is opposite to the position of the Sun. Talking scientifically, it's 180 degrees opposite to the Sun. So this means when the Sun sets, exactly in a straight line, we have on the other side 180 degrees Saturn rising. So this is what happens, and since it's opposite to the Sun, there is full illumination and it looks brighter and bigger. And the opposite to this is, of course, conjunction. But you can see here that during opposition, it looks bigger and brighter in relation with the conjunction. Therefore, it's a good opportunity for people to come here, visit us, and grab this chance to observe Saturn at opposition and the full moon. Now, our friend Ara. Ara, good evening.
Good evening.
You have impressed us as a nation. We are very proud of you all these years that you have been, well, we know you even before you attended the Astronomy Academy of KITION, and we always trust your performance. You are an excellent character, a very nice guy, hardworking. You did your best. Last year you achieved the bronze medal, and I had a bet this year with Alexander, because Alexander, he expected something between silver and gold, and I said, no, he's going for the gold. And when we received the result, I won. You got the gold. Congratulations. We are very, very, very proud of you, and keep up the good work. We want to honor you. So
Thank you.
Open invitation for you to come on the 31st, on Thursday, as a complimentary visit with your family. And we want to honor you during our public event. There will be a lot of people here, so it's a good chance for the word to spread out. And I would like to mention that Ara studied here the KITION Astronomy Academy We have received very good words from his parents, and for him during this year, let's say training. I believe he's going to achieve much more. I'm 100% sure. Because it could be shown from the early stages. And also, I would like to congratulate the whole Cyprus team because they achieved high grades. And we have another guy who achieved honors, Achilleas from us. And here we have the picture of Achilleas and Mahdessian. They were accompanied by the so-called Ένωση Φυσικών Κύπρου, the Union of Physics Teachers of Cyprus, and also the other guys, Kyriakos Mniotis, Angel Hagiosoteriou, and Michalis Platanis were the 5 members of the Cyprus team. And actually today I was contacted by Mniotis, and we are looking forward to have him preparing for the next year. So Ara, tell us about your experience. Tell us how the results were achieved. Tell us, I don't know, in comparison with the previous time you competed in this international competition, the stage is yours. Feel free to take your time, tell us everything you want. We are really proud.
First, throughout the year, I was studying with Mr. Alexander. Thank you, Alexander, for your help.
Welcome.
And also at the English school with Miss Katie, with the Astronomy club. After the IMO, I studied a lot the last month. And what else? About the paper, the theory was easier than last year. Last year I think was the most difficult year, and so I got a lot of points from there. It went according to my expectations, like how I was doing with the past papers. For the data analysis, the first question was relatively easy, and so I got I think almost full marks from there. But the second question was much harder, so I could have gone better there. The most interesting paper was the planetarium and the observation, because they have the planetarium in Poland. It was much more organized and much more interesting than last year. And the question, like, they didn't ask us a single Messier object, which was unexpected. And the questions for the planetarium didn't require a lot of knowledge about the stars and the night sky. It was based on skills. And the observation, similar to last year, it wasn't done at night. Even though there weren't clouds, there was a chance of clouds, so we did it in a building, a dark building, and the telescopes were aligned, and we had to look at stuff on screens. But it was much better organized than last year.
In Poland, it's not the first time when they make this Olympiad, so they had experience, so it's good.
Yes, they say it was the most organized Olympiad. Yeah.
And what's about? Oh, sorry, step by step.
Sorry, Alexander. Was it related to the last statement, Ara? Was it confusing for some people that they didn't go out with the telescope and they had to observe in the building, or in the planetarium dome?
Yeah, it was confusing, especially for those who expected a night observation, because the previous night we had the telescope out and we were observing things, Messier objects and stars and Saturn. But it was unexpected because we weren't tested at all on using the telescope to find objects because the screens were large, and we knew it was a large screen and we knew where to find the stars. So it was more.
On the planetarium Doma?
No, it wasn't at the planetarium. It was in another building near the ICC where we did the other exams. It wasn't at the planetarium.
Would have been easier actually if you simulated dome directly the sky.
Yes, but it would be difficult to have all the telescopes in the middle of the planetarium. The planetarium is not that large. And I don't know if they can simulate Messier objects with that accuracy that you can't see them with the eye, but when you see them with a telescope, thousands of stars are resolved.
What's about the tasks themselves? Do you recognize tasks after you attend KITION Astronomy Academy? Or there were some new which you did not expect and you had to spend some time on them?
Oh, there were some similar tasks with previous years. I remember the data analysis question 2. It was about gravitational lensing. I remember we had done a past paper from previous years about that. So it was easier for me to get a few marks from there.
Yeah, indeed. When you know the topic and you know the mechanism, you don't need to develop it at the Olympiad. You just apply it and you save time for other tasks.
Yes. For the theory, there were some new topics like libration. I think it's the first time I'm seeing that in the Olympiad. But especially for the later questions, most of the processes were straightforward. Like there was celestial mechanics where you had to apply Kepler's third law and conservation of momentum and things like that, which are standard. So it was easy to get marks from there. And this year there wasn't a lot of calculus like last year. The only question where I used it was in the last question, where we had to find the derivative of Kepler's third law to find dA over dt and plug it into another equation. There wasn't a weird question with magnetic fields, which I didn't know what to do.
It's on our curriculum for this year.
Okay.
So maybe after this year you will know what to do with it.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe you will achieve another good one next year.
Yes.
Well, and what's about the statistic which we use at our course? Was it helpful at the data analysis?
Yes. I used the error propagation and the thing where you find many different observations with the errors of a specific measurement. It was the distance to the Magellanica cloud. And you had to take the weighted average of this using the errors. And I used that, which was helpful.
Yes, we discussed it. I remember we discussed it. This similar to this task. Yeah.
Yes.
So you use arrows like the weight of measurement.
Yes.
Yeah, it's nice. So we foresaw this task
Yes.
in some parts. Okay, it's good. It's good. So generally, that homework which we made all these years in KITION Astronomy Academy was helpful to solve. And what tasks were new to you? You said liberation, and was there something else?
The magnetic field.
Mhm.
I'm trying to remember something. I don't remember something new in theory.
Mhm.
There was one about neutrinos,
Mhm.
but if I had more time, I could have solved that because we did something. We did about the nuclear reaction
Mhm.
of hydrogen to helium.
Yeah.
So with more time, maybe I could have solved that. I think there wasn't anything very strange. And the strangest thing was the planetarium. So apparently there was a question where we were on another planet, and we could see the star and some other planets for 500 days, and we had to find the solar day, the sidereal day, the
I see.
orbital periods of the other planets, things like that.
Mhm. So you have to
And
know
for the
where is North Pole on each planet.
no, maybe I don't remember if that was necessary.
Yeah, I noticed that there are such tasks. So in this year curriculum, we have, for example, to know where is North Pole on Mars. So it's our task. So
Yes.
maybe it will be helpful as well.
It was on a random planet, so you couldn't have known where the North Pole was.
Ah, yeah. So it's not obligatory this specific.
Yes. And for a nice question from the observation, so we had there was a star which was going to be a comet was going to, or an asteroid was going to pass over it, and we had to record using a stopwatch when it would happen and how long it would occur.
Mhm.
I missed it, so I put randomly numbers. One of
Mhm.
them was correct.
Okay.
And there was another question with Starlink satellites, and we could see the Starlink satellites passing over the screen, and we had to measure their angular velocity and the distance between them and things like that.
Mhm.
I think those were the interesting questions.
Yeah. It's and the concept of this question is impressive. Just being on the Earth, in one place, you may get such valuable data from your observation.
Yes.
Yeah, it's they have fantasy. It's nice. Thank you, Ara.
Thank you.
Ara, thank you very much. Hope to see you on Thursday with your family.
Okay.
We will talk. Give me a call tomorrow morning and we'll arrange that. And let's proceed with the screen sharing. Okay, so our last subject for tonight is mission AUGUSTA, which was supposed to be expedition 67, but expedition 65 and 66 became one expedition 65. So the expedition 67 was renamed to expedition 66, as I was told by the director of the Analog Training Center, Mrs. Agata, and it doesn't matter anymore because it has a name, and this name is AUGUSTA, or in Latin AUGUSTA, which is the Latin name for divine. And yes, we have Cypriot, Constantinos Troullias, another Cypriot Analog Astronaut, in a worldwide unique solo mission. Well, this mission was supposed, according to the protocol, to be attended by 6 astronauts, analog astronauts. Last minute, the 5 were considered as incompetent, and the mission was supposed to be cancelled. Finally, Constantinos challenged the Analog Training Center. He wanted to attend, and they replied, "Yes, why not? Let's keep the mission." So the mission patch was designed by Constantinos and one of his friends, as I was told. Hopefully, we'll have them with us after the mission, because it's still in the process. It began on the 23rd of August and until the 1st of September. And it's a very, very unique mission. And as I understood from what I was told by the director, and also saw from some of the things they shared on the Facebook page, we're going to see it together. It's a unique mission, and they are trying some things, a new software that about psychology, that he was being tested with it 3 days before the mission, and they have received the software 5 days before, if I remember well. So it's everything new. And let's see in the next slides what Constantinos. So we have a nice picture here, because he won this cap. He is the captain. Of course, he's alone, solo mission, so he's the captain as well. So he took the responsibility for everything. And as you see here, of the description posted by the Analog Astronaut Training Center, he said, "A new mission, Expedition 66, AUGUSTA, Latin for divine, just started. The mission is unique because there is only one crew member on board who, like a lone Martian, undertakes the hardships of operating habitat." Let's congratulate Constantinos for taking on this challenge. And if you realize, the black suit usually is blue or green, dark green. And now we see, for the first time, I see black suit. I don't know if it was before as well, but for the first time I see in the pictures posted a black spacesuit. And he wore the captain cap. It's a challenge for him and also for the people who are monitoring this. And I'll let you know. This is the second post. While our brave analog astronaut Constantinos Troullias is experimenting during his lonely mission, the Analog Astronaut Training Center visited Aquarius Habitat in Miami to prepare the first underwater mission, which we organize in the next year. So soon it will be announced. So yes, they consider him brave because he's carrying out all these things alone. And here it is the day 3 of the mission. And they say that it was not easy. 19 hours. It was everything I expected, guys. So he was not informed, if I understood well. 19 hours of blackout with life support systems failure in the habitat. The increasing levels of carbon dioxide, complete darkness, no connection to the master MCC, which is the main control, and nobody around. So he was left alone without anybody informing him about this test, this experiment. So he was left alone for 19 hours in blackout, total darkness, and he had to fulfill the tasks. And it says here, Constantinos managed this all. Fortunately, all parameters of the base are nominal now, and we are all positive calls with him. And let me read the last reports about this experience will be available in the upcoming book. So because it was the first time that it was a solo mission and under these extreme conditions, so it will be also published in the next book. Alexander, do you still see my presentation?
No.
No? Okay, then I missed that I made a mistake here. One second, let me share the screen again. I apologize. Okay. So I was told that I was also told by the director of this mission that they were the two psychologists, one Italian, one German. They are really impressed with him because he managed to keep his levels high. They got excellent results. He fulfilled all these tasks with excellent results. They were really impressed to get some good scientific data from all his tasks. And he managed to find, if I remember well, all his to find with the ultrasound machine. It was an experiment, human interacting with machinery experiment. He used ultrasound to find all his organs. He was able to find both of the kidneys, intestines, and so on. And he also managed to find and monitor his heart. And in the second day, he had the task of growing fungi. I don't know any more details, but it seems that Agatha didn't manage because she was in her flight to Antarctica, if I remember well, for some experiments. So most probably she didn't join because of that. The plane most probably is late, so she will be probably with us during our next session, because we'll have for sure Constantinos back and report us about what happened in the habitat. So that's all for this mission. Don't forget to join us on Thursday, 31st of August, Blue Supermoon, opposition of Saturn. It took place 3 days ago, but it's still very near to this position, so it's a good chance to observe Saturn brighter and larger, the same as the full moon. And don't forget the next Science Café, Tuesday, 26th of September, last Tuesday of that month. And most probably the subject will be the analytics and reports of this mission. Plus, I'm surprised. Thank you very much for joining. See you next month, 26th of September.